So very good morning. Uh, Today we are going to start with first chapter of CSEET. Okay, and the chapter is demand and supply, a very known chapter, especially those who have come from 12th standard. This is very easy and easy, but it's very important chapter. So let's begin with the concept of demand. Okay, so before I start with any concept, let me ask you one example. Let me ask you one question, and you have to give the answer. Okay, suppose there are two students, one is X and one is Y. Okay, Miss student X bought iPhone. Okay, he bought iPhone, or in other words we can say he purchased the iPhone. So Mr. Y or student Y is saying that he will also demand iPhone from his dad. Okay, in ordinary language what he is saying, I will also demand, or he is saying I have also demanded iPhone from his dad. Okay, so my question to you people is that, tell me, who has demanded iPhone in this example? Okay, just try. Who has demanded iPhone? So in ordinary language, what people will say, Mr. Y has demanded iPhone. But in economics, I must say, this is a wrong answer. Surprised? I know. Okay, so in ordinary language, your answer is right. But this is economics, na? In economics, Mr. X has purchased or Mr. X has demanded iPhone. Now, what is the meaning of this word demand? In ordinary language, demand simply means desire, desire to buy. He needs that thing. He want that thing. There are many other meanings in ordinary language. But in economics, demand is directly connected with purchase. When any commodity is purchased by any individual, it is said to be demanded. Then only we can say that commodity is demanded by certain person. Okay, so what I mean to say, in short, in economics, demand means purchased. Demand means purchased. When we actually buy that product, we say that commodity is demanded by that person. That's it. So what we can say here, we can say simply, acha, chalo. Before I conclude anything, let me tell. Let us discuss something more. To purchase anything, to purchase anything. Okay, one sec. Huh. Three conditions are necessary. We purchase only those things which we need, which we have desire to buy that product, right? Whatever it never happens, na? We don't need that thing and we bought it. It never happens, right? So to purchase anything, to demand anything, the very first condition needed to be fulfilled is that there must be desire for the commodity. Achha, whatever commodity we desire, can we buy? We cannot buy it unless and until we have ability to pay for it. In simple words, we have economic power to pay for it, right? Unless and until we have economic power, in simple words, unless and until we have money, we cannot buy that product. And suppose any person is having desire to buy iPhone, but if he don't have that lakhs of rupees, he cannot buy it. And when he cannot buy it, this thing cannot become a demand. Acha, there is one more condition needed. It's not always possible the commodity a person desire, commodity which person can buy is always bought by the person. It never happens. Suppose you can take an example of mine. I have a desire. I love iPhones. Let me tell you. I love iPhones. Okay. I have a desire to buy for it. Even I have ability also to pay for it. Yeah, I know. So, but I'm not buying it. Why? Because whenever I think about that 1 lakh rupees which I am supposed to pay to buy iPhone, there are many other things comes in my mind. What I think, na, I usually think that normal 20,000 rupees Android phone can fulfill all my desires. I mean, whatever I can do with the phone, what maximum things I can do with the phone. I can call, I can message, I can see YouTube, I can do all the banking activities through that phone, and these all functions can be done by 25,000 or 20,000 rupees Android phone also. Then why should I spend extra 75,000 to buy that simple phone? And with that 75,000, that additional 75,000, I can fulfill many of my needs. I can simply invest that into share market so that in future I can earn a lot of money. Or if I don't want to take risk, I can invest that 75,000 into mutual funds. Or suppose if I want to enjoy with that 75,000, I can go to many trips. Yes or no? I can go to Goa, I can go to Dubai, I can go to Bangkok, I can go to many other places and enjoy with that 75,000. Right? Yes or no? And what I mean, for me, I have a desire to buy iPhone. I have ability to pay for it also, but I don't feel worth of that 1 lakh rupees. Therefore, I'm not buying. So, what is lacking to purchase that commodity? That thing is willingness to pay for it. The third important condition to fulfill the to become demand is what? Willingness to pay for it, right? I mean, so Acha, suppose let's take an example of that 25,000 rupees Android phone. You know, that I mean, I need a any gadget like a phone which can fulfill many of my desires. So I have a desire for that 25,000 rupees Android phone. I have ability to pay for it, and I am feeling worth pay 25,000 rupees for that that Android phone. So in case of that 25,000 rupees Android phone, all three conditions are getting fulfilled, and therefore that commodity will be purchased, and when that commodity is purchased, it will become demand. Is that clear? Is that clear? So what we can conclude, in ordinary language, demand is desire, but in economics, mere desire, only desire cannot be called as demand. In economics, demand is desire which is backed by ability and willingness to pay. Thus, demand is actually three conditions. Demand is desire, ability, and willingness to pay for it. When all three conditions are fulfilled, the commodity will be purchased, and when commodity is purchased, it becomes demand in economics. Is that clear? So we have completed the meaning part of it. So in I mean, this is what the meaning is. So you can write it also. Okay. I'm writing for you. Okay. So whatever we have studied now, I want you to write it along with me. Okay. So I'm writing whatever we have done. So what we have done, I mean, what we were doing, we were actually doing meaning of demand. Okay. And what I can say, number one thing is what? In ordinary language, demand is desire. Okay. But in economics, mere desire cannot be called demand. In economics, demand is desire which is backed by ability and willingness to pay. Okay, I hope you are understanding each and every word which we have discussed. Okay, I'm continuing. Thus, demand is number one, desire for commodity. Number 2, ability to pay for it. And number 3, willingness to pay for it. है ना? चल, moving up. When all these conditions are present, a commodity or service will be purchased, and when it is purchased, it becomes एक second, it becomes demand. Okay, so this is the concept of demand. Okay, now we are moving towards definition of demand. So what is demand? I'm taking a different color. It's definition of demand. Okay. So what is demand? It is, okay, one second. What is demand? It is, yeah, simple. Demand refers to amount of commodities purchased, and very important, at certain price per unit of time. This is what the demand's definition is. Now this thing we have covered, na? What is demand? It is amount of commodities purchased, right? This thing is this thing we have covered. Now what is at certain price per unit of time? So let me take one more example. Okay, suppose I'm having a business of manufacturing and supplying shirts to different malls. Okay, let us take an example. Here is one mall, for example, XYZ mall is there. Okay, so one day I called that manager. I wanted to know what is the demand for my shirt in his mall. Now I hope you understood what I mean to say. I just want to know how much quantity of shirts are bought by the people of my company, right? This is what I want to know. Okay, so I simply ask him, what is the demand for my shirt in your mall? I asked him. What he said? Sir, it is 2000 units. What he said? Okay, we are taking example here so that we cannot forget it. Okay, in this small box I'll take example. What he said? He said 2000 units, only that much, and he just put down the phone. Tell me, are we getting enough information just because of just by a quantity? No, we are lacking some information. We are not getting proper information or complete information about our demand. So I called him again. Sir, I know 2000 units are bought by the people, but can you tell me within how much time? Is it per year, per month, per week, per second, per minute? Can you specify it? He said 2000 units per month. So demand for your shirt is 2000 units per month. This time he mentioned time. Okay, and he again put off the phone. So tell me, this time along with quantity we got information of time. Is that enough? No. We must know something more. And what is that? That's price. So again I call him, uncle, can you tell me 2000 units per month people are buying. 2000 units per month people are buying. Can you tell me what is the price of shirt you are offering to them? Are you selling shirt at 5000 rupees per unit or 500 rupees per unit? He said 2000 units per month is purchased by people when we put, when we keep price of rupees 2000 each. Now he mentioned price also. Now tell me, is that enough information? Yes. So when a demand is completed, when we can say we get complete information about the demand, when quantity is mentioned along with price and time. And that is what you can see here in definition. So what is demand? Demand is amount of commodities purchased. Okay, this is quantity at certain price per unit of time. So in our example it is 2000 units which are purchased by the people when the price is 2000 each and people buy 2000 unit per month. I hope you are understanding the definition of demand. So what is demand? It is amount of commodities purchased at certain price per unit of time. Is that okay with you? Okay. So this is the concept of demand. I want you to read it one more time. Okay. And this is the definition of demand. Clear? Okay. So we are moving forward. The next thing which we are gonna learn is types of demand. Types of demand. Okay. So there are many types of demand. To be very specific, there are 5 types of demand. Okay. The first type is individual demand. Second type is market demand. Okay. Third one is direct demand. Fourth one is indirect or derived demand. Okay. Fifth one is composite demand. Next one is, I said 5, but I have added two more demands actually, 2 more types. Composite demand, complementary demand, also known as joint demand. Okay. Seventh one is competitive demand. So these 7 types we are gonna learn with example and you will understand it, that is my guarantee. Okay. Now again let's take some examples. Okay. Suppose in that shirt, in that mall, I again call that person and ask him, can you send me details of those 2000 units? So I got the detail. In that detailed thing, I got this thing. There is Mr. X who bought, one second. There is Mr. X who bought 5 shirts. Mr. Y bought 4 shirts. Mr. Z, okay. Mr. Z bought 2 shirts, and on that particular day, total 50 shirts were bought by the people. Now, can you tell me, this demand made by Mr. X is demand made by an individual or group of individuals? So of course, demand made by Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z are what? Individual demand. And these 50 units are what? Demand made by group of individuals. So that is what our meaning is. So demand made by an individual can be called as individual demand, and demand made by group of individual will be called as market demand. Is that clear? So we can define also with the help of this. Okay, what is individual demand? It is amount of commodities purchased by an individual. It's called as individual demand. And what is market demand? Amount of commodities purchased by group of individuals. That's it. Bolo. Is that, tell me, is that clear? Individual demand, demand made by an individual. So demand made by Mr. X is individual. Demand made by Shah Rukh Khan is Mr. X is individual demand. Demand made by Salman Khan, individual demand. And demand made by entire Mumbai is what? Market demand. Yes or no? So this is what the individual demand and market demand. I hope that is enough. That is well understood by you guys. Okay. Chalo. The next thing is direct demand and indirect demand. Now what is direct demand? So generally direct demand is made by, एक second ना, direct demand is made by consumers and derived demand is made by producers. Okay, now I'm again taking example. Okay, tell me this shirt, demand means purchase na, this shirt is purchased by an individual. I'm a consumer or producer? I'm a consumer. Why I will use this shirt? I will use this shirt for final consumption, for my own satisfaction. Yes or no? Tell me, this shirt is manufactured by some manufacturer. He will buy shirt or he will buy raw material, he will buy machinery, he will buy equipments which are used to manufacture this shirt. So all those equipment, machinery, raw material and all those stuffs demanded or purchased by manufacturer. For what? For final consumption or for manufacturing of goods or services? For manufacturing of goods and services. So demand made by that producer is what? Indirect demand or derived demand. And demand made by final good is called as direct demand. So that is clear. Tell me, what is direct demand? Direct demand is demand made by consumers for final satisfaction of the consumer itself. Yeah, for its own satisfaction. And what is derived demand or indirect demand? Demand made by producers for manufacturing goods and services. Clear? Okay, we are moving up. We are moving forward. That is composite demand. What is composite demand? When one particular commodity is demanded. So what is composite demand? When one commodity is purchased to satisfy several wants or multiple wants. For example, we can take an example of your cell phone. Tell me, cell phones are purchased to satisfy a single want or multiple want? Of course, multiple want. We can satisfy, we can make a calls, we can send messages, we can email our official stuffs, we can watch movie, we can listen music, we can do all our banking stuff, we can buy insurance, we can shop with that thing, and number of things can be done with the help of cell phones. So when a person buys phone, he buy it for satisfaction of single want or multiple want? The answer is multiple want. So demand for cell phone is a composite demand. Is that clear? Is that clear? Of course, composite demand. So what is composite demand? When a single commodity is demanded to satisfy several or multiple wants. Clear? Moving up. Complementary goods. It is exactly opposite. In composite demand, what we did? We bought one commodity to satisfy several wants. In this example, it is reverse. We buy many commodities, or to be very specific, two or more commodities to satisfy a single want. For example, I'm buying car and fuel together to satisfy one single want for driving a car, or for traveling from one place to another place, right? Same way, in earlier days, people used to buy pen and ink together. If we want to make a tea, we will demand milk, tea, what we call it, I mean tea product, milk, tea, ginger, and I don't know what are the other stuffs which are used in tea. So all those things we demand together to satisfy our one single want. Acha, right now also we need this laptop, this pen, this mic, and many other things which you cannot see right now, but all those stuffs are togetherly or jointly demanded to satisfy one want. That is what? That is conducting lectures. Yes or no? So when many things or two or more things are demanded jointly to satisfy single want, it's called, or simply when two or more things are demanded jointly, it's called joint demand or complementary demand. Yes or no? We don't only buy TV. You know, for watching TV or for operating TV, we need electricity also. So electricity and TV are jointly demanded. Acha, electricity, TV, cable connection, these all things are jointly demanded to satisfy our single want. I hope you're I hope you're clear with this concept. So till now what we have covered: number one, individual demand, demand made by an individual. Number two, market demand, demand made by group of individuals. Number three, we studied direct demand, demand made by consumer. Okay, then we studied indirect demand. What is indirect demand? Demand made by producer. Now two more demands we have studied. Number one, number five is composite, when one commodity is demanded to satisfy multiple wants. And complementary goods or joint goods of joint demand is what? When two or more commodities are demanded jointly to satisfy a single want. Clear? Chalo. Next is competitive demand. What is competitive demand? It is demand for two commodities. Competitive demand is demand for substitute goods, basically. When two products are competitive of each other, yeah, in competition of each other, which can replace each other, we can substitute each other, we can work on behalf of each other, like tea or coffee. You know, either people can buy tea or coffee. Nobody mix it up, no? Nobody demands it together. Nobody takes tea and coffee at the same time. Okay, so either we demand tea or coffee, either we demand tea or green tea, either we demand petrol or CNG. So these all are competitive demand. They are in competition with each other. So what are the examples of competitive demand? Meaning, what is competitive demand? Competitive demand is demand made for substitute goods which can replace each other. Example, tea or coffee. Example, petrol or CNG. Example, tea or green tea. Example, Pepsi or Coke, and many more. I hope I am clear. I hope you are clear with these types of demand concept. Is that clear? Okay. One sec. Okay. Ready? So far we have covered two or three concepts regarding this chapter. First we covered what is the meaning of demand in economics. Then we covered the definition part of the demand, and just now we covered types of demand. Okay, now we are moving forward. Okay, me, if as per our example, at rupees 2000 each, suppose 500 units are demanded per 500 units are demanded per month. This is our example. So what is our example? Suppose at rupees 2000 each, 5000 500 units are demanded per month. Tell me, this demand of 500 units will always be same throughout the you can say for lifetime. Will it be same, short, small? It will always 500 per month. 500 units will be sold month. No, no. It gets affected. It can be changed, and it gets changed because of various factors. and those factors are called as factors affecting demand. Okay, or in other language, or in other words, I can also call it determinants of demand. So I hope you're clear what we are going to study now. We are listing down various factors which affects demand, which affects quantity demanded. Okay, the very first factor is of course price. Tell me, if any commodity is available at high price, so its demand will be high or low? The answer is low. You know, if any commodities, just for example iPhone, normally iPhones are available at high price, so therefore number of people buying it is always less in numbers. So when price is high, demand is less, or in other words we can say, when price is less, there are more number of people who demand it, right? So this is the relation. I mean, so can I say that it depends upon price? Price is one of the factor which affects the demand. Acha, here Q stands for demand, quantity. Okay, so number one factor is price. Second factor which affects demand is what? Income. Okay, suppose income level is more, so obviously in that market demand will also be more, and if income level is less, of course demand is also less. Or you can say, if anybody is having more income, he buys more. If anybody is having less income, he buys less. You know, demand in Mumbai will, yeah, Mumbai or any in metro city, Chennai, Bangalore, etc. Right? In any metro city, demand is more. Commodities are bought in more quantities, more numbers, as compared to rural areas. And the simple factor is income. Okay, is that income is the only factor? No, there are many other factors. Like I can say population is also a factor. Okay, so if any area is having more population, definitely demand is more. And if an area with less population, demand is also less. So demand gets affected by population also. Okay. Fourth is taste and preference. One second. The fourth thing which affect is taste and preference. Taste and preferences. Tell me, which food item you will buy more? Definitely whose taste is liked by many people. Suppose if any product is preferred by more number of people, will be demanded more. For example, in earlier days, people used to prefer Nokia phones. So therefore, demand for Nokia phones were very high. Nowadays, people are not liking Nokia phones. People are not preferring Nokia phones. So therefore, demand for Nokia phone is less as compared to other people. So what is the factor? Is that income is affecting demand for Nokia phones? Is that population is affecting demand for Nokia phones? Is that price is the factor which is affecting Nokia demand for Nokia phones? No, it is simply taste or preference. Now Nokia, nobody tastes it, so in case of Nokia phone we can call it preference. But many items like chocolates, ice creams, any hotel where a particular dish is been served by served there, so demand for dishes of that hotel depends upon taste. If more number of people are liking the taste of that hotel, definitely demand for dishes will be high. And if suppose if there is any hotel, the dishes which are prepared by that hotel are not liked by anyone, people don't like taste of that hotel, so definitely there are less number of people who are going to buy the dishes from that commodity, that hotel, sorry. That clear? So taste and preference is also a thing which affects the demand. The next thing is which affect is what? Habit. Okay, habit is also one of the factors. There are many products which are demanded as per the habit. Okay, for example, in my case, I'm fond of reading, so I demand many books. I buy many books as per the habit, because when one book I mean, when I read or when I complete one book, I need another book, no? So that I can continue my habit. Okay, there are many other products like, not in my case, in case of general people, there are many other products like cigarettes, alcohol, tobacco products are demanded by the people because of habit. They are habitual to smoke, habitual to consume liquor, they are habitual to eat tobacco products, so they demand it as per the habit. There are many students, I would say, they have habit of eating junk food. So they are demanding junk food because of their habit. That's it. So habit is one of the factor which affects the demand. The one more thing I can say, it is taxation policy. Okay, what we can do now, we can we can write government policies so that it will cover many other things, taxation policies, export import policies, or monetary policy, all will be covered under government policies. Okay, so government policy, if government is giving if government is charging more taxes, definitely demand will be less, and if government is charging less taxes, demand for commodity will be high. That's it. So government policies also affects the demand, right? Then I can say there are many other things, taste and preference, prices of substitute goods, prices of substitute goods. Okay, now tell me, now suppose if we are concerned about Pepsi, suppose we are concerned with demand for Pepsi, we are analyzing, studying demand of Pepsi. Okay, so demand for Pepsi gets affected due to the price substitute product. What is the substitute product available for Pepsi? For example, let's take Coke. Okay, now understand, both the price of both the product is 10 and 10, and demand is also, for example, 100 and 100. And what happened, price of Pepsi is same, you can see here same price, there is no change in the price of the Pepsi. But suppose the Coke price decreased from 10 to 6. Now what will happen to the demand? What will happen to the new demand? Of course, the demand for Coke will rise. Yes or no? Suppose it is 150 now. And why it is 150? Because many people have substituted Coke in place of Pepsi. So now demand for Pepsi is 50. Now let's only talk about, only analyze the demand for Pepsi. Okay, tell me, demand for Pepsi is still same or it is affected? Affected. Why it is affected? Because of change in price of its substitute goods. That is how price of substitute goods affects the demand. Same way I can say price of complementary goods also affect demand. Now let us take an example of, complementary goods. Okay, for example, car and fuel. Okay, these two goods are demanded jointly by the people. Okay, suppose the price of car is 10 lakh rupees and price of fuel is, for example, 70 rupees a liter, and demand is, for example, 100 and 100. Now what will happen if the price of car dropped from 10 lakh to 8 lakh? The car which was earlier available for 10 lakh, now it is available for 2 lakh. So obviously what will happen? The demand for car will increase, and the moment demand for car will increase, the demand for fuel will also increase, even if its price is still same. Now let us focus on demand for fuel only. Tell me, the demand for fuel is same or it is affected? It is affected by changes in price of its complementary good, that is car. Is that clear? Okay. Now there are many, we have so far covered 8 items. Okay. One more thing which affects the demand is what? Is quality. Okay. Simple, you can say simple calculation is there. If commodities if the quality of commodity is superior, or if the quality is improved, if quality is superior, if the quality is good, definitely people are gonna buy more. And if quality is inferior, the demand for commodity will be less. So if good quality product is available, demand is more. And if inferior quality good is available, demand will be less. So quality of the product is also, quality of the product also affects the demand. Okay. Okay. One more thing I can say, it is fashion. Okay. If commodity is in fashion, definitely it will be demanded more by the people. And if commodity is out of fashion, the demand is less. So actually, if I go on increasing, if I go on listing the demand, listing the factor which affects the demand, the list will be more, right? But right now I'm stopping here. We have covered 10 factors which affects the demand. Okay. And there are many other factors which might be in your mind also. Okay. So these are the various factors which affects the demand. Clear? Is that clear? So, so far we have covered meaning of demand, definition of demand, then we studied types of demand, and just now we completed factors which affects the demand, in other words determinants of demand. Now we are eligible to learn about law of demand. Now what is law of demand? Simple. The law of demand is what? What is the law which prevails in purchasing in market? What happens in market? So this is the simple law, is that which is that people buy more, large quantities when price is less, and and people buy small quantities when price is high. So there is always an inverse relation between price and demand. More price, it is simple observation you can observe in the market also. See, the showrooms like Zara or high brand showrooms where high price commodities are placed, or people sell high price commodity. Can you see, do you see large number of people gather there to buy? No, never. But when these same shops are offering discounts, 50% off, 70% off, buy one get for free, such kind of offers, when these offers prevail in the market, what happens in the market? Large number of people gather there in malls. It usually happens in Mumbai, right? So what is the conclusion? When price is high, you cannot sell it to mass. The quantity demanded by people will be less. And when price is less, mass, for large number of people can buy. People buys the product. So what is law? This is what the simple observation is. High price, smaller quantities demand, low price, larger quantities demand. This is what the law is in simple words. In few words I can say that. Okay.